Okay, so hopefully folks should be able to hear me now because that sucked. So I'm hoping folks kind of got in and did what's necessary. Um I hate technical difficulties more than anything because there's nothing you can do. It's just one of those things that just happens and it sucks. So I'm praying that folks are finding their way in. Looks like I see some folks up in here. I'm getting a level, so I'm imagining that you can see or hear me. If you can hop in the chat room and let me know. Charles says, "Yep, hear you now, loud and clear." Whoo, hallelujah! Dum, 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 dum. I was like, "What in the bloody blue blazes is happening to me?" Sometimes technical difficulties are just what they are, and even if you've done 1,000,001 webinars, and I've done webinars for myself and for several professionals, it's still one of those things that just literally just anything can happen. So welcome to everyone who is trickling their way in here. In just a couple of seconds I am going to get started, so sorry about that. Sounds pretty good. I think I need to refresh one more time and good to go. Yeah, I needed to refresh on my end because I wasn't even getting a level now. I had to go hook up the my big super mic, so there was no issue. Sorry about that. I do not like two things. I don't like loud tardiness, and I do not like technical difficulties, although sometimes they just can't be helped. So, now we've gotten all that good stuff out of the way. We're going to rock and roll. Hey, George, I see. Says you got me. That's awesome. Folks are starting to trickle in. Penelope says, sounds good to me. That's what I like to hear. I like to sound good, because we about to do this thing, and I'm definitely excited to have you. This is something that I feel is extremely important just for folks to be able to, have the experience and really get in and kind of deep dive into what's happening. So before I even get started with this presentation, the one thing that I want to do is make sure that I invite you all to come and check out what I have going on, because I think it's extremely important. And I don't care where you are in your speaking journey. If you'd like the opportunity to work with me, I just put up a link right there, ibringuniversity.com/apply. And you can apply to work directly with me and my team, and we are going to rock and roll. I didn't want to wait till the end to let you know that there will be an opportunity to work with me because, well, hell, I enjoy working with me. That's right. Let me tell you something. I have a great conversation with myself every day, and right now, life is good. So, real quick, before I go ahead and start launching this thing, I want to know what your issues are, where you are. Have you ever spoken? Are you looking for more gigs? What brings you to this program today? I want to know exactly why you're here and what we can do. And then while that's happening, I'm about to go ahead and get this party started real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So it's going to be a good thing, and I'm waiting for these chat stuff to pop up. And we're going to be rolling, man. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Let's see here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Good stuff. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, while you guys are answering all that good stuff, I'm going to go ahead and get this presentation on the road here. Hold on one second. I don't know why that's not showing up. Technical stuff. Let's see here. Yep. All right. So here we go, people. Asa says, need help speaking with my clients for insurance. Oh, man. Trust me, speaker training is the best thing for that. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to run this video, and then we're going to roll right into this training, man. So you ready? Let's do this. trees and throwing them into the microwave. I was 13 years old, doing Unity Day. This is when Evacuation came out. And so I went up to you at the trailer and I said, listen, I know this is crazy, but what can I do to get where you're going? And you said, work. Yeah. Yes, sir. What you sell on your website? What do I sell on my website? I sell dreams and hopes and butterflies. No, I sell a bunch of different products. My new book is called Common Sense Ain't Common, where I teach people how to get everything they could possibly want to get out of life by harnessing the power of common sense. Because people think it's about fame, people think it's about money, it's about prestige, and part of that stuff helps, but you can be really, really famous and still be stupid.
Common sense ain't common. I'll say it again. By reading this damn book. Common sense ain't common. It's a practical guide to getting the most out of your life. What's going to get you the most out of your life? This book right here. Common sense ain't common. I, Kevin Hart, salute this book, and I salute my friend for putting it together, because I now have common sense. And I'm keeping this copy.
What is the one thing you want to change about your life?
Change about my life? Yes. Well, I got it pretty good, I would have to say.
Yes.
I mean, really, I stop and think about that a lot of times. I wish I could slow down a little bit. I know I'm not resting the way I'm sure they say it comes with this territory.
Right.
I don't know. I need a little more calm, if you will, sometimes. I think certainly being married now, you'll learn this, next September. But your priorities are different. You think about the impact you want to have on the industry you're in, your community. Right. And I think you're not so ambitious about you getting somewhere. You actually want to help those coming up after you. You're starting to think about your own legacy in a lot of ways. So those are the things I'm starting to think about.
Once I realized that it wasn't about me, once I understood that my place in the universe was infinitesimal, I got a brand new perspective. As my mother's favorite singer, Patti LaBelle, says, I got a new attitude. And I started separating myself from negative people. And I started remembering who I was at my core. And once that happened, things began to open up. And I'm working, and I'm not back in the industry because somebody had it in their mind that they were going to blackball me, but you can't blackball the universe. And the universe had a plan for me. You are more likely to get hit by lightning twice than you go rapping as a rapper. Statistically, more likely to get hit by lightning twice than you go rapping as a rapper. And if you go rapping as a rapper, you're only going to get 8% of what you pull in. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather have 100% than 8%. In America, we teach our children to go to school and get a job. Go to school and get a job. Everybody know what job stands for? Just over broke. You know, if your credit wasn't, it's cool now. I mean, what's this? What's like $4 or $5 now? Tours? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The endorsements, the Kodak joint, all crazy like. Yeah.
Got that.
I'm working on my yup.
Yeah, I want to just take some money because people actually say.
Yeah, say it all the time. It's like, all right, yo, this is my yup, man. Like, yeah. I mean, it worked for Hammer. Yeah, I mean, as long as you ain't buying no Raven horses, you can afford it. It's all good, man. Don't shoot. Just give me a sandwich. Speaking of which, people were still looking at me like, oh, you did. Yeah, you can go drive the truck. Maybe you could be on the weekend. And I'm not a weekend dude. I'm not your fill-in guy. I'm the main event. And people may think that's arrogant. Let me tell you something. If you're not your number one fan, nobody else is going to be either. And some people say, oh, that may be cocky. I don't care if you think it's cocky. I know my worth. At the end of the day, when I face God, I'm going to face God by myself. So in the meantime, in between time, God put me here to do everything I possibly can to uplift my fellow man. And I can't do that during the weekends. Yeah. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So that's just a little bit of what what my demo reel looks like. Welcome everybody to Book, Speak, Close, Repeat. I am Dave Anderson. I have been speaking since I was 13 years old. So that was like 1991. In my mind, it was last week, but it don't feel like it, especially with this gray hair. and these kids running around here. So definitely been at this for a minute. I've been able to, make myself a living and make myself a life by sharing my story on the stage. I am a best-selling author, #1 best-selling author of Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat, Common Sense Ain't Common, The Handbook, A Practical Guide to Understanding Radio, and several other books all available right now. And Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat is going into its 38th week on the Amazon bestseller list. So been very blessed in that regard. Don't forget, if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, feel free to do so. I can see you in the chat while I'm actually doing this presentation. I've been featured on everything from Ebony Magazine, the Huffington Post, the Tom Jordan Morning Show, the Breakfast Club, allhiphop.com. I actually got a contract to become a writer for All Hip Hop. So I have been really, really fortunate in my career to take my story and my tragedies and turn them into triumphs from the stage. And I was lucky enough to develop a set of skills that has kept me from having to deal with clock punching on a regular basis unless it's for a bigger type of situation. So feel free at any time to ask questions. You don't have to wait till the end. I am looking forward to this presentation, and hopefully you're going to get something out of this where you'll be able to take this information and blossom on your own speaking career. And like I said before, if you go to ibrainuniversity.com/apply, you can actually apply to work with me and my team. And we'd be happy to have you and take you into our system and help get you booked and show you what it means. And so we're going to break down a lot of good stuff here today. So if you have questions, ask them. Also, if you have anything that you want to share, feel free, but make sure you have a pen and paper ready because we're going to dive deep. This isn't a surface type of situation. We going in. So let's rock and roll. I have been able to do stages in arenas. The biggest arena I've ever wound up speaking in was the Wells Fargo Center, 18,000 people. That was nuts. This right here is a picture of me. Ooh, I think I was like 561 pounds. If you look real closely, you can kind of see that pudge right there. But that was for the Gilmore Henny Youth Foundation. It's a community fund that actually goes into neighborhoods across the country and helps the neighborhoods build playgrounds so that kids have a safe place to play. And with that, I was able to have a really good relationship. My first speaking engagement with them, I got, I think, $1,000. My last speaking engagement I got from them was $5,000. So when you start to work in your purpose and you start to do what you're called to do, things will open up for you. And one thing that I will tell you is when I go and I speak, I usually try to get there early so that I can feel my way on the stage and kind of get the energy of the place. And I'll go around and start shaking hands and start talking to people. Don't tell them who I am or anything. And then when I get up on the stage, like, oh yeah, I talked to that guy. He's nice. You got to make sure that you try to make a few friends as you go along. And it's just been an amazing thing to be able to get on that stage and speak. I think aside from the day my wife said I do, some of the best times of my life have been on that stage. Here are a couple of organizations that have paid me to speak to them, to speak to their staffs, to help grow their sales teams, to help motivate, to drive revenue, to give encouragement, anything along those lines, because I've been talking in a lot of arenas for a long time. So everything from banks to sororities to charities to working with other speakers, media organizations, colleges, universities, school districts, broadcasting conglomerates. So I've been blessed to really be able to get in the mix and things happen. Some of the people that I've been able to share the stage with, this is a legendary comedian and activist by the name of Dick Gregory. If you've never heard of him, he has been around forever. He is just an amazing individual, and he taught me a lot. And he also is very passionate about, not only his people, but health. And he did say, oh my goodness, he did say that it was a situation where he was able to help change his life because he was he was overweight at one point, and he started developing things. So he also had products like the Bohemian diet and things of that nature. So he is an amazing individual, and he's an amazing activist. And to be able to share the stage with him, I think I was about 28 at that point, was a turning point in my career. And when I was a kid, I watcch this man on PBS, and I just thought he was the most amazing thing in the world. And Les Brown is just phenomenal. He's the number one speaker in the world. Toastmasters, rated him the top speaker on the planet. I became his protege. I became the first of his 100,000 Voices of Hope. I helped build his social media presence, and I also produced for him when he replaced Dr. Laura in LA. So to be able to be with someone who is what is considered the pinnacle of the business and learn from him over some years as to what to do and turn this thing into a business has been monumentally life-changing for me. And it's these things that I want to share with you. So I hope that as we move through this thing, that you are getting something out of this, and don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat. So speaking of questions, there are always 3 questions. This is one of the first things that I was taught as a speaker. People always ask these questions, and they are the most powerful questions when crafting your speech. If you're ready to know what these questions are, go ahead and tell me I'm ready in the chat room. All right, Penelope says ready. Tonda says ready. All right, making sure y'all are in here now. Okay. All right, Angela says ready. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's ready. So we'll go ahead and get this party started. Here are the 3 questions. Who are you? What is your message? And why should I care? These questions are fundamental in how you craft your speech. They say a good story, whether it's a fairy tale or a tragedy, has a beginning, a middle, and the end. You want to make sure that you're covering all 3, and all 3 of these have a part about your beginning, your middle, and your end. And so they're extremely important, extremely valuable to get in here. So it's an amazing, amazing situation. So let me break these down for you. Who are you? Are you a single mom who had to fight to get child support? Are you a single dad who had to go through the court systems just to get visitation for your kids? Are you someone who found himself while fishing off the coast of Oahu? Are you someone who had to have their arm amputated? Are you somebody who lost a career because you got downsized and had to learn a totally new skill? Who are you? There are a lot of ways to answer that question. Les Brown answers that question by saying, I was born in a part of Miami that was very poor called Liberty City, in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. My mother, Mamie Brown, adopted me, and she adopted 6 other kids, and she would clean the houses on Miami Beach, and she didn't have any college training or education, but she had a PhD in motherwit. And, my whole goal in life was to buy my mom a house. That's what he would say, who he is. And he'll also talk about how he made millions of dollars speaking and telling his truth and speaking in his own voice, and that he wants people to understand that they do have a voice inside of them that has power. My story would pretty much go like this. My parents divorced when I was 3. My father was a police officer who then worked for the federal government, doing what I'm not allowed to say because that's classified. My brother is 7 years older than me. He is a police officer. He has 2 kids, and he was my protector. He was my provider. He was my angel. And when I was homeless, it was his garage in which I slept, and 6 years ago on Wednesday, I was homeless. I am the youngest American to have a radio contract at the age of 9. I have been on television. I've had TV shows, and I've done voiceover work. I've done voiceovers for Saturday morning cartoons. I've been the voice of Walgreens for a year. I've also been voiceovers for albums, everybody from Nelly to Fat Joe and countless others. I have put 3 major celebrities into syndication in radio. I have worked and developed TV and reality shows that you now watch. I was on the team that developed iHeartRadio, and all of those things did not matter when I wound up losing everything, you know. But what I did learn is how to bounce back. So that's who I am. I'm the son of the single mother from the projects with a brother and a dad, you know. So who are you? Can you bolt that down? What does that look like? What is your message? Is your message one of hope? Is it one of caution? Is it a message that is going to resonate with your target audience? What is your message? My message is very simple. I teach people how to rely on themselves so they never have to punch a clock again. When I go into a company, they know automatically within 6 months, I'll find $1 million from them that they didn't even realize they were sitting on. By creating and generating revenue, by using the resources they already have in a different way. That's what I did for Nutrisystem. That's what I've done for ADT. That's what I've done for what you now know as iHeartMedia. That is what I do for companies all over the world. And even better than that, I'm able to help entrepreneurs really narrow down who they are, what they have, and a way to market it to people they didn't even realize were their target customers. How to make sure that they keep the customers they have while spending less money on acquiring the customers that they need. So that's what I do. I'm the business bully. I get right down to the brass meat, and I let you know exactly what's going on. Okay, I tell you what it is you need to hear, not what your mommy would want to tell you. And that's what people expect of me. That's what I have. I have value. I teach you how to quit that god-awful job that's just causing you stress. I teach you how to fix your businesses. That's what I do. Why should I care? What's in it for me? People don't care about what you've done. They don't care about where you've been. They care about if that information and the knowledge from what you've done and where you've been is going to benefit them. And if it isn't, then you shouldn't be on the damn stage. You should find something else to do. You know, let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of people right now just selling stuff on eBay. They don't have to get on that stage. But a guy I know actually has made millions of dollars on eBay. He once sold, you're not going to believe this, but he sold a cane that belonged to his dead grandfather and posted it up and said it was a ghost cane because his grandmother told him that his grandfather's ghost was in there and she wanted him to sell the cane. So he goes, he puts it on eBay, and he makes $65,000 for that ghost cane. Why did somebody pay $65,000 for that ghost cane? He said, I didn't ask. I was too busy sending off the cane for $65,000. And people don't know that you can sell stuff on eBay, that you can make a living by making jewelry, that you can actually go out here and speak. There is a skill, there is a talent, there is a thing about you, a unique value proposition that you have that people will pay to learn more about. And if you can't figure out what that is, well, then that's what I'm here for. So make sure you're turning in your application to ibranduniversity.com/apply, and we will whittle down, you know, where your message is, what your message is, and why people should care about it. Those are critical questions. Now, what I want to do is talk about the anatomy of your speech. Yes, we're going to get down in the guts, people. We're going to talk about what makes your speech, okay? So let's start with the framework, okay? This is your outline. The main part of your speech is just the bullet points. You don't want to get in a situation where you can't really back out of what it is that you're saying. So say if something happens to you that day that's impactful and that you want to share it, you don't want to have a speech that's so rigid that it can't be fluid. You know, one thing that I did learn from Les is Les does not write a speech, and I haven't written a speech since 1991. I wrote one speech and I got stuck on a part, and I literally for like 30 seconds just froze because I had lost my part. It was horrible. And I realized I didn't want to do that again. And so I happened to listen to a tape that Les had put out, and he talked about how he remembered the stories that he wanted to tell, and then he could kind of move and flow with it. Your speech should live. Okay, so that's the important thing. All right. So your outline should kind of be like, just like I said, those 3 questions, but most importantly, it should be a rundown of where you're trying to go. You should know where you're trying to go, and you don't always have to take the same route to get there. So if you want to get to 4, you can go 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, or you can go 2 + 2, or you can go 3 + 1, or 1 + 3. As long as it gets you to 4 in a way where you don't lose your audience, you will be fine. So let's break down this body of your speech. Yes, indeed. Boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry, I had to. For those of y'all who ain't over the age of 30, y'all don't get that joke, but trust me, it's funny. The bones. You want to take audiences deep inside of your story. You want them to feel where you are. So, in December of 2008, I had just finished putting in the best of shows for the Rickey Smiley Morning Show as we celebrated our 28th syndicated market. And I decided that as soon as I was done putting in these best of shows and then putting in our reservations for DC, because we were going to go to Washington, D.C. to watch Barack Obama become the first African-American president of the United States, I was going to fly home to see my family. I hadn't seen my brother and my mom for a while, and that's what I wanted to do. So I was going to go fly home, and so that's what I did. And I wound up flying home, and as soon as I got off of the plane, you turn on your phone from airplane mode. I had all these messages from my boss. And so I said, okay, well, I'll hit him up after I get something in my system. So my cousin picked me up from the airport. I wound up going to Houlihan's, and I'm sitting there. My appetizers came out, had myself a drink, and I called my boss and I said, hey, what's going on? And he says, hey, listen, yeah, I got to let you go. And I was like, let me go? What are you talking about, let me go? What's happening? And he was just like, look, man, we're moving in a different direction. It's not you. You know what happened. And while I won't get into a whole lot of details, there were some internal conflicts that were happening inside that radio show because people wanted to be messy. And I wasn't about that messy life. And people began to believe a story that wasn't true. And so I wound up losing that job. And that was okay. I'd lost jobs before. I really didn't care. But everybody expected me to just bounce back. And 6 months later, when I gone through my savings and my payout and all of that good stuff, because I was living a certain type of lifestyle. I had a 2,500 square foot house. I had 2 cars. I had a driver. There's a certain type of lifestyle that, at the time I felt I had to keep up. And that was a mistake. And then with that, came the loss of, I'll say it was a relationship. I wouldn't really call it a marriage. But with that, I wound up losing everything that I had worked so hard to get while trying to wait for my next gig, which at that point had never come. And I remember with all of my worldly possessions being in that Jeep and sitting in the dark and crying my eyes out and getting up, and finding a gig in the call center. And I would act like I had a place to go after work, and I didn't. And I get up every morning and go into a gas station and try to give myself what J. Anthony Brown refers to as a hoe bath. And I carry those things in me because I was ashamed. I'm Dave Anderson. I don't fail. So that right there, those are the bones. You got to take folks deep. They got to understand why you made the decisions that you made, what was happening, where you were, what was going on. You want to take them deep inside of your story. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to depress them, but you want them to understand that you are, in fact, human. You are not from the planet Krypton. You cannot, catch bullets with your teeth. You actually have a purpose, and you actually have a story, that's deep. Everybody's got a deep part of their story. You want to take them there. Now, if you want to show them the bones, you got to give them the muscle. You got to show the audience your heart. And this is exactly what I look like when I take my shirt off. if you squint real hard and don't look directly at me. No, seriously though, you want to show people your heart. You want to show people that you care. I am a big believer that people need to know that it's okay to be a depression sufferer, that it's okay to fail, that you don't have to be perfect for people. God made you perfectly the way that you are made. You are perfectly formed and beautifully made. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show people your heart, show people that you care, that you have the capacity to love, that you have a passion for what it is that you do, that you wake up in spite of whatever circumstances you may have. If that means that you had to go through dialysis this morning, but you get on that stage that afternoon, you show people that there's a passion there, that there is some growth there, that there is something beyond what they're just able to see on the surface, that you have a heart not only for what it is that you do, but most importantly, you have a heart for them. And you want to be able to make sure that what you are giving them is something that is going to impact their lives tremendously by being open and being human. So many times you see people and all you see is the good stuff. All you see is the glamour. All you see is the glitz and the fun, but if you peel that curtain back, you'll see some ugly, but most importantly, you'll see some fear. You'll see some passion. You'll see some losses. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There are only perfect circumstances that come in the form of adversity. So you want to be able to connect with folks. There was a guy I used to do a lot of speaking engagements with named Jim Hernandez, and he said, if you lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. And he would literally get on that stage and talk about what it meant to be the runt of his class, what it meant when he first went out and spoke, and then got hired at a beauty pageant to host it. And he met his wife there, and they moved to Hawaii, and they're extremely happy. You have to show people that you have a heart, and that heart is open. And when you open up your heart, other people will open up their minds and their hearts to you. Now, you got to hold everything together. And who does that? That's the skin. Now, that's when you hold everything together and you make your offer. You tie everything in there. Who are you? What's your message? Why should I care? You get down to the bones. You talk about how those things, even though it hurts you, it didn't break you. And even though you've been hurt, doesn't mean that you're closed off from showing people love and giving your all to the situation, giving your all to people. That is how you tie everything together. And then you tell people very clearly that you have something for them that is going to be able to impact them beyond just this one talk. See, one talk ain't going to do it. One talk, anybody can do that. Anybody right now can go into the gym, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, and do a 45-minute session with a personal trainer. Anybody can do that. But can you do it over and over and over again? Most people don't have the dedication, and that's what it takes. And so if you're dedicated, I would love to be able to work with you. So when I'm off of this stage, come meet me in the back. We're going to talk. I'll answer all your questions. We can take some pictures, and you can tell me your story, and you can tell me how my story, if at all, impacted you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and helping you tell your story. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the skin. And that's how you do it. Like, that is as honest and as transparent as I can be on that. Before I go any further, does anybody have any questions? Let me know in the chat room, or if not, just tell me to keep rolling. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling. Penelope said keep rolling, so we're gonna keep rolling, baby. All right, this is a very, very handsome man. I want to talk to you about selling from the stage. See, when you start this business, there are people who start and they start with the Charles keep only cooking with grease. I'm trying not to get popped away. Pop, pop, pop. Listen, when you start in this business, there are people who, I don't know who taught people this, but they act as if speakers aren't salespeople. First of all, let me tell you something. The best speakers I know speak every Sunday between the hours of 7 a.m. and noon. They're called preachers, pastors, priests, bishops. deacons, whatever you call them, they are selling from the stage. And if you don't believe me, ask yourself if you've ever been to church. Have you heard this? The doors of the church are open. Won't you come on in? Won't you come on in? Right now, right where you are. I just want to be able to lay hands on you. Come on down to this altar and let's talk. You know, we've got this building fun happening. And right now, brothers and sisters, we need to make sure that we can do what we need to do. And now some of y'all know that good and well, y'all ain't no preacher. Neither am I. Or I am, but I'm not. But when I sell from the stage, I do a technique that's called neuro-linguistic programming. And basically what that is you weave things throughout your talk to plant the seeds in people's head that you have something for them, that you have something that they will be able to take advantage of. You want to be very, very transparent that you are more than just a box. Like any chucklehead can get up there and recite a speech. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the first time Martin Luther King gave the I Have a Dream speech, it was not at the March on Washington. He had given that speech a bunch of times. The same way President Obama gave a speech at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Everybody thought that was the first time he made that speech. He made that speech a bunch of times, talking about how his father came from Kenya, his mother, and he met, and he grew up in Hawaii, and so on and so forth, and his grandparents raised him, and all that good stuff. A lot of times, it's not the first time that somebody's giving that speech, but it's about the hits. And so if you're able to tie your speech through and weave it with an offer that's making sense. I'll give you some examples. I've told you already that I've helped companies make millions of dollars. I've also told you that I help entrepreneurs fix what's wrong in their businesses so that they can no longer punch a clock and they can fire their boss. I've also told you to go to ibrainuniversity.com/apply. See, these are things that I'm doing, so that you know that there's more beyond this webinar. That's what you should be doing. Neuro-linguistic programming, Charles. You definitely want to take notes. It's extremely, extremely important. Leah said, how else they going to get them tithes? Hallelujah. Well, listen, man, there's people right now, they got it so good, they can just take it out your check. So before you get paid, First Cheatham Church of God gets their bread. So it comes down to what it is that you believe in. But I believe in being very, very upfront with folks. And I also believe that it's a lot easier to be honest and tell folks, look, I'm a salesperson. That's what I am. Motivational speakers of any kind are salespeople first. Anything else is secondary. Believe that. But neuro-linguistic programming is powerful. So now your question then is, well, Dave, that's all well and good, and you've been doing this for 25 years. Yeah, way to make me sound old. But yeah, I have been doing this for 25 years. I have been a speaker since the time I was 13 years old. It's easy for you. All you have to do is show up and the engagements just fall in your lap. Wrong. No, I'm out here working. Every day I'm hustling. So I got to get up and make things happen. But I know what it is to start out. My situation is a little bit different. My first engagement was paid, and it was through a company called the Hugh O'Brien Youth Foundation. I was a 13-year-old kid who was on the radio. I had a radio contract for 4 years at that point, and it was impressive to people. And so they wanted me to go into a room and speak to all of these high school juniors and seniors, and I was barely a high school freshman. You have any idea how nerve-wracking that is? But I learned a lot that day, and I did learn the two lessons that Les taught me, and even before I even met him, I learned this. You're never too young to teach, and you're never too old to learn. So how do you find and book? Meaning get that contract, get that deposit, get on that stage, and get that bread. How do you find and book your first engagement? So I'm going to break down absolute ways that you can take action right now in order to book your first engagement. Churches and community events. Well, brothers and sisters, every time I turn around, there's a ministry for this, a ministry for that. Somebody somewhere is going to be preaching. Lord, someone right now seriously though, at my church where I was ordained, which is a New Millennium Bible Fellowship, just in trying to sing, no sound. You can't hear me? Let me make sure, because if you can't hear me, I need to know. Let's see here. Okay, that's a personal problem. I got you. All right, cool. Just making sure. Whew. So anyway, churches and community events. There's always something happening. My bishop, Bishop J. Lee Slater, he had something that I'd never seen any preacher do ever in my life. If you decided to become a member of the church, he would sit down and have what he called the juice and cookie ministry. And what it was, he'd come in with the family, they would sit in his office and they'd have juice and cookies and they would talk. You know, because if you're meeting with the bishop of a church and it's a really large church, that can be intimidating. And he thought that juice and cookies amongst adults, you know, especially with families, it works with kids, it works with single people, it works with couples. It disarms people. And some of the greatest programs that church has ever put on or developed came from the juice and cookie ministry. You know, youth days and workshops, dating while divorcing in the church. You know, all these different workshops and ministries had come about as an offshoot of the juice and cookie ministry. So there's always an opportunity. There's always a program. There's always an event. There's always somebody who wants to be able to try and reach the youth. And right now, see, churches are starting to get smart because they realize that the old people are dying and they need to start reaching out to young people and maybe not necessarily changing their views, but they need to go back to what Jesus said and find a way to reach the young people, to be more like children, to have the mind of a child. And once you get young people into the system, then you've got them. And then you can kind of grow and sustain the life of your congregation and of your ministry. So there are always going to be programs for young people. There's always going to be a need for programs for battered women. There's going to be a need for somebody to be able to teach somebody how to do their taxes, build their business, file for a 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization distinction. All of those things you can teach on. If you have a story that's a testimonial that you want to share, then this becomes a great opportunity for that to happen. So churches always have things. Now, community events, it goes beyond the church. There are plenty of nonprofit organizations that are in need of your unique voice and your talents. So feel free to start reaching out. Just give them a call. Hey, listen, I understand that you have this event coming up, and I mean, Google is a wonderful thing. Don't be afraid of that powerful supercomputer in your pocket called a phone. Use it. Go to google.com and start Googling what's happening in your area. One quick tip, and this one I will give you for the free. You can go through Eventbrite. If you've never been through Eventbrite is like Ticketmaster for small organizations and small events. A lot of folks use it to sell tickets for their events. And with Eventbrite, you know, you can see what's happening in your area and then get some information, because 9 times out of 10 they'll have the website of the event or the organization that's there. And so you can reach out, find out who that meeting planner is or who that event planner is, and see what needs are there, where you can get in. Now, sometimes this does mean that you might have to do something for free, primarily with the churches, but some of these churches have budgets and they are willing to take a risk. And let me tell you something else. No one knows you're new until you tell them. No one knows you're green and haven't done this before until you open your mouth and you share that. I'm not saying to lie. I am saying because I know somebody's right now like, hey, you know what? I want to be paid right now. Cool. Don't tell them how new you are. Tell them that this is what you offer, that you have spoken before, because everybody's spoken before. They may not have ever gotten paid for it, but you get into rates, and I'll break down how to charge and what to charge later on. So we're rolling. Colleges and universities. This is a gold mine when it comes to making money as a speaker. Number one, there are 3 things you need to keep in mind. First, colleges and universities have what are called curriculum budgets. Okay, so basically what that means is they have money to pay you to enhance their curriculum. So say if you're an entrepreneur, there's plenty of people in the business school, plenty of professors who want to have a speaker come in. You can hit them up and give folks a lecture. It's always an awesome opportunity. There are Greek organizations that may want to bring you in to speak if it's going to mean that they're going to make some money by selling tickets to come see you speak because what you have is valuable. And you don't have to be famous or well-known to do that. Also, schools allocate somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 per student per semester for what's called enrichment activities. I found that little loophole at Temple University, and they created what is called the Dave Anderson rule, which means that you can't have more than one student organization at a time that you found in order to get more money out of the student government to do things like what I did, which is like rent 3 or 4 tour buses and take everybody in the dorm shopping with the university's money. So they have more than enough money to pay you to speak. Also, every school, especially a university, has a dorm. If they have a dorm, they have a residence life program or a student housing program, which means that they have resident assistants, or AKA RAs. And if that's the case, then they have RA training. That means that if they have a team, a sports team, you're gonna need to be paid for RA. You can be paid for RA training. You can be paid to motivate the football team, the basketball team, the field hockey team. Who gives a rat's behind what team it is, as long as there's a check involved, and you are capable of doing that. If you've gotten out of college and you had a hard time adjusting when you were in college, you can talk about that. When I got out of business school, the head of the residence program at Temple University had asked me to come back and speak, and I made $2,500 for that speech. And I was telling them, telling the students places that they can go, resources that they have, fun things to do, great things that are going to separate themselves and make their experience at Temple University the best that it could be. So colleges and universities are a gold mine, and you're going to need to be able to send them. I'm not a big believer in press kits. I believe in electronic press kits. I also believe in a really strong demo video, sort of like the one I opened up this presentation with. Now, specialty groups. You know, these are people, you know, I mean, if you are a business coach, you can talk to businesses. If you want to talk about, you know, lowering stress or the importance of massage therapy, if you're a massage therapist and you're trying to drum up more business, yeah, it's also awesome to do that. If you're an insurance agent, you want to talk about the insurance that you offer and why they should have it and what benefits people can get from having insurance beyond just what they automatically know, be that life, home, auto, whatever the case may be. So there are a bunch of specialty groups, and specialty groups go beyond just doctors, lawyers, accountants, things of that nature. You go on to Facebook, which has 1 billion people. You know, so basically 1/7 of the world's population is on Facebook and active. You also have to look at that there are more people on Facebook than there are who classify themselves as Catholics in the world. So there are groups on Facebook, like one group that I belong to. I am a big fan of professional wrestling. There's a group called Yep, I Like Wrestling. There is a group for Black nerds who like comic books. So there are groups and people who will pay you for your experience in what it is that you have and what it is that you do. So you definitely want to make sure that you're taking advantage and reaching out to folks. You never know if there's a meet and greet, a meetup, anything like that. If you are, you know, Black or Jewish or Hispanic, there are plenty of specialty business groups based on ethnicity alone. Like I've spoken at probably about 5 or 6 different Black-owned business group functions, and all that came through Facebook. And yes, I got paid. And yes, I sold books. So there are constant opportunities to make money. And when you hear it like this, you realize it's not that difficult. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Because if you don't, I'm going to answer the question that you should be asking yourself right now. Whew. Well, Dave, honestly, if you could tell me, let's talk about the money. You know, what should I charge? I will say this. If you've never hit the stage before and you don't want to speak for free, again, everybody doesn't need to know everything. Okay, you don't want to be the person who just got out of barber school, got yourself a nice chair in the shop, and tell everybody that you're a brand new barber. Like, no one will trust your haircutting style. So you got to be relaxed. You just got to sit in your chair, Say, hey man, you want to cut? Hey, sure. You get in there and you cut your behind off. And once you do that, then the word will spread. You build your clientele, and that's how that works. I don't believe if you're starting out as a speaker, you should charge less than $500. And I feel like that's on the very, very, very extreme, no less than low end, bottom line end. If you have some experience, then you need to take it up to $1,000. I think you should have a rate for a workshop that's different for a rate for a speech, because workshops can sometimes be 3 or 4 hours. And your rate needs to not only encompass how far you're traveling, what it is that you're going through, what value you bring, what materials you have to bring, how much preparation it takes for you to prepare for that workshop, how many people are going to attend this workshop, will this workshop be taped? All of those things have to factor into how much you decide to charge. I will say for me, I do not get out of my bed for less than $5,000. Unless it's a nonprofit organization or a charity, then it's $3,500. So that's how you want to try and move when it comes to making money and structuring your fees. If there's a question, popping in the chat room. So, as important, if not more important than the gigs you book, it's the corresponding bookings that you make in the media. These are extremely important because not only do they lend credibility to what it is that you do, but it also gives you more authority. It gives you more authority to be able to charge more and make things that much better for whoever's bringing you in. So if someone's coming to you and they're a promoter and they're trying to do an event and you're a speaker and you've already done your due diligence by using social media, by using Snapchat and Instagram and YouTube and Facebook Live, and you're blogging, you have a lot of content out there that people care about, that you're constantly writing and building and creating products that people are getting to know, and you're getting people to share those things, and you have a polished look and an image, then yeah, all of these things are extremely important and they work hand in hand. So if you're able to book the media, then guess what? You move higher up on the priority list than somebody who just can come in and give a great speech. You don't ever want to be a one-trick pony. You want to be able to bring as much value as you possibly can, because just like anything else, I don't care what it is, the speaking world and the people who book speakers, it's a very, very small world. So you want to be mindful of that. All right. So media is extremely important. So let's talk about radio for a bit. Primarily my background is in radio. I have done TV. I've been in a couple of movies and a few things like that. But radio is what I do. Radio is my main wheelhouse, and I will tell you, as an executive producer of not one, not two, but 3 nationally syndicated shows, it is extremely important that you find a way to razzle dazzle folks. Here's what most people do. Most people will send a stupid package in a brown manila envelope, and that package 9 times out of 10 will be sitting in a bin with a bunch of other packages in a brown manila envelope, not getting touched. I would do crazy things. Like I'd find out, what someone's favorite flower was and send a dozen of those. I have sent pizzas with my packages in the bottom of the box, just so that somebody would check it out. I will send zip drives or flash drives now to individuals so that they will pop it in and see what was in there and give it a play. I would send singing telegrams. I'm not afraid to do what I have to do in order to get booked. Now, because I have a bit of a reputation for being in radio, I don't really have to do much but pick up a phone and say, hey, listen, I'll be in this market on this day at this time. I'd love to sit down with your morning show. And 9 times out of 10, someone will say, okay, cool, great. Be happy to see you. But you don't have that luxury. So you have to be able to be memorable, and you have to look at what's happening. One thing that you do need to do, and this is for both radio and TV, you need to find out what's happening in the news, what's trending, and find out how you can speak to that. If there are people who, like, let's just say, for example, you're a conflict resolution specialist, or you are a hostage negotiator. and you know tips in order to survive an encounter with police who just may be a little too trigger happy these days because they're on edge for whatever the reason is. You may have 5 tips that you want to share with an audience about what to do to de-escalate a situation before it starts. That's powerful. Start hitting that stuff up. Start shooting these emails. Start getting on these folks' Instagram. Let them know what you got. Send them a link to your stuff and start to build relationships. With TV, you want to make sure that you tailor your pitch and focus on local newsworthy issues, new reports that are released, and seasonal topics. And most of all, whether it's radio or whether it's television, you have to be persistent. Sending one email ain't going to get you nowhere. I don't know about anybody in here who's married, but I will tell you, it took a lot for me to convince my wife to marry me. It wasn't just one date. I will tell you that. It's the same thing when you're trying to court someone. Questions so far? Any questions? Please let me know. If not, I am going to keep rolling. So now we come to products. Products are extremely important. You want to make sure that you have products and services that go beyond your speech. I've been talking about this for this entire webinar. You have to have things that are powerful and impactful to people. That's why I constantly create programs and I create all different types of products so that I can be places when I'm not anywhere near there. Sorry, I need a drink of water. You have to be able to create things that are valuable, that are priced effectively, and that are so impactful that people want to share or people want to get more. And you want to be able to not only do this, but you also want to be able to service your list. If you do not have an email list, you have a problem. But that's an easy problem to fix. And the reason you fix this problem and the way that you fix this problem is you want to make sure that you stay with people beyond the speech. And you want to make sure that they can find you and they know what's going on with you. If you have something coming up or you're going to be appearing on the Steve Harvey show or something like that, you want to get that out there so that people don't forget you. Because the worst thing you'll ever want to have happen, and I've seen this happen to very seasoned speakers before, like, man, that guy gave such a good message. You remember that guy? Oh, what was his name? Ooh. Or man, that sister, she was sharp, man. I like what she had to say. Well, do y'all know what her website is? So you want to make sure that you're able to build products or services. And one thing that I've learned a long time ago was the ability to sell air. Okay. And that means selling things that have not even been created yet. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's talk about things that are products and services that you can sell right now that are going to benefit you. First, ebooks. Ebooks are simple. I probably write anywhere between 6 to 8 ebooks a year. They're simple. They're easy to do. It doesn't require a whole lot. I have a background in graphic design, so I can kind of do my own graphics. But even with that, they are very, very, very simple. I may only write one or two regular full-on books in a year. But ebooks can vary anywhere from 20 pages to 60 pages. They shouldn't be particularly long, and they should always give a lot of valuable information, but leave people wanting more. And they're easy to do. How do you knock out an ebook in the course of a couple of days? Very simply. If you have a MacBook, you hit the function key twice, you plug in your headphones, and you start dictating that book into some kind of word processing software, whether that's Microsoft Word or Pages or something like that. It's extremely, extremely valuable. So Penelope says, what do you do if you don't have a press kit or demo videos? Great question. I'm going to be happy to answer that for you. What do you do? Very simply, you give a speech for free. You can get on Craigslist and find somebody who will come take your videotape your speech for you. You can also go to a local film school, college, university, and do that. You can put up an ad, like I said, on Craigslist, or find somebody who's looking to make those things happen. Or if you want to go the cheapo route, and trust me, I have done this. You can take one of these $700, $800 iPhones, and have somebody tape you with that phone, but you keep your phone in your pocket and you set it to your recorder, and then you go and you match up the audio you've recorded with the video that they've shot. So now you have a pretty decent quality video and you have pretty decent quality audio that you can then put together. Or you can hit somebody up like me who can put together your demo video for you. So there are ways to get that done. An electronic press kit really doesn't take a whole lot either. It's very simple. Usually it's a PowerPoint or a quick little video that you can shoot. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just talk about what you like to talk about, what kind of value you bring, the things that make you an expert. Start running down some testimonials from people. One thing that I see a lot of people make a mistake in doing is that they do not get testimonials. If you don't walk away from every speech with 3 to 5 video testimonials, you have failed. You have absolutely failed. You want to get people in the moment that they feel their best about you, which is right after you got off of that stage and they stood up and they started clapping. If you're not doing that, then you wasted the speech. You wasted the opportunity to grow your business. So, Penelope, I hope that answers your question. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. And of course, you can still go to ibranduniversity.com/apply and make those things happen, because it's going to be a phenomenal situation. But yeah, so you go in and you dictate that ebook, you edit it, and you just start to give that away. You can do that through a lead campaign. You can do that with MailChimp. MailChimp is free for your first 2,000. You're welcome, Adrian. You're welcome, Penelope. You can 2,000 email addresses, 2,000 email contacts for free. MailChimp.com. You can build your list there. I still use MailChimp, and I have thousands of people on my list. So don't think it like it's if I'm giving you some cheap resource that I don't use. I don't believe in that. I don't like to shortchange people, because I want people to see how upfront and honest I am. So I'm not going to give you anything that I haven't used or don't currently use, because I think that that's corny. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing a lot of talking. That means I need a drink. Audio courses. How in the world do you make an audio course? Make it with your phone. You can also take the audio from a speech that you've given. You can also look at some of the common themes that are going on. And if you don't know what to talk about or how to talk about what's going on, Charles, I got your question. Let me just get through this sentence and I'll answer you. If you don't know what to talk about or how to talk about it, what you can do is go on to Facebook, go on the groups that you already belonging to. Go on your page, go on different sites of similar like-minded individuals and say, hey, when it comes to this, what's the number one problem you're having? And then take that information, compile it down, and then make a report on that. So there's your ebook and there's your audio course as well. You look at your expertise, you look at what people say their problems are, and you solve it for them. That's how you start selling your products. Audio courses, especially when I was struggling and rebuilding myself, helped me do things like feed myself, feed my family, pay my car note, all those kinds of things. And I got to tell you, it's an amazing thing, and it's simple to do, and it costs you very, very little money. Charles, I'm definitely going to get to your question, and yes, I will show you how you can actually get a copy of this video so that you can go through this training again. Coaching. Everybody says, "Oh no, Dave, I cannot be a coach. I don't know enough." And you'd be wrong. Here's the thing. Do you know the difference between an expert and someone who's not an expert? One more piece of information. If you've gone through something that makes you an expert. Right now, my 17-year-old has a PhD in Dave and Janae Anderson. So she can tell my 18-month-old everything that she could possibly ever want to know about how to deal with us. What to do when we're angry, what to do when we're upset, what to do when you're scared to tell us about something. Those things are important. But she's an expert because she's had a 16-year head start on what it means to be a child under this roof. So she's an expert. She knows more than her audience. So she's going to coach her little sister for free and probably save her from getting her neck wrung a couple times. But more importantly, you can save your audience a lot of headaches that you've already been through because you've already been through them. And coaching is a very lucrative situation. So you can make a lot of money just coaching people. Now, you can do this one-on-one, or you can do this through mastermind groups. I do both, and I think that it's important that you have those opportunities and those tiers. So you have ebooks and audio courses. That's one tier. You have mastermind groups. That's another tier. And then you have one-on-one coaching, which is a top tier level program because it's more deep dive. It's more done for you. It's more individualized, and you can break that out. You can also do Q&As where you can answer questions. So Laquita says, what platform do you suggest we use to deliver an audio course? There's several that you can use. I personally use Payloads. I may switch because sometimes Payloads gets a little bit funny, but I use Payloads, and that's payloadz.com. And I just upload the MP3, go ahead and embed it in my website. And that's another thing I really want to get to when it comes to your coaching and things of that nature. You have to have a website, and that website should be responsive. It should also be mobile friendly. I do, of course, represent companies that actually build mobile friendly websites. So if you need that, we can definitely talk about that. I'd be happy to put you in the right direction of some professionals. The other thing that you want to be able to do is make sure that you can possibly advertise to those people. How do you use a platform like Facebook to narrow down your audience and get them to know about you? You don't have to be famous in order to be well known. Those are two totally different things. And a lot of times we get those two confused all the time, and we shouldn't. You don't have to be famous to be well known. You just have to start making sure that you put yourself in a position to win. And Facebook has leveled the playing field. So you can literally do an entire coaching program through Facebook. But you want to make sure you have the things in place that if Facebook decides to destroy your page for whatever reason, you've got information, and that starts with having that email list. So those things are extremely important. And keep in mind, if you were on Wednesday's webinar, some of the stuff I didn't teach. That's why I told folks, you might want to come back for round 2 because this right here, I'm going in. Yes. Let's see. Jennifer Slay says, do you recommend having your prices for packages available on your website? Yes, I do. Now, if there's something there that, maybe a little bit specialized, tell them to call if they have something that doesn't exactly fit, or have them call or email you directly so that you can talk, because there are some people who are going to need help, who are going to need some finesse, and you might be able to work with them or give them a flexible payment plan that may make sense for them. I offer payment plans because, well, damn it, I'm the son of a single mom and know what that is. I don't expect you to just walk around and just say, oh, here's $20K, Dave, knock yourself out. Let's rock and roll for a year. Everybody can't do that. It's not that type of thing. One thing that I learned from Les, and he always says this, and if you listen to the Business Bully podcast, which is available right now on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, whether you have an Android or an Apple device, in my latest podcast, I talk with Les in depth about coaching and why it's so important. People are paying Les Brown $100,000 for 6 months for him to coach them on their speaking. And I will tell you, it's worth every penny. You want to know why? He's the number one speaker on the planet. That's why, but you have to understand that if you are, Kobe Bryant had a coach, Michael Jordan had a coach, LeBron has a coach, I have a coach, I have coached people. It's important to realize that you can only take yourself but so far, and to think that you can do it all without any help is just utterly ridiculous. You have to have somebody to look at your stuff objectively and say, hey, you may want to do this. You may want to tweak this here. And let me tell you something, a couple little tweaks make all the difference, because the last thing you want to have is be in a situation where you make a decision that could cost you thousands of dollars when all you had to do was invest in yourself. So that's extremely important. Now, the next question I usually get a lot is, well, Dave, what if I don't have time? Well, guess what? You don't have time. I get it. You're working 9 to 5. You may be working 9 to 5 and 6 to 2. You know, sometimes it's like that out here in these streets when you're trying to make it in this cold country we call America, this land of opportunity and milk and honey. So that's when you hire some folks to help do it for you or do it with you. Or teach you where to go so that you can get the type of training and coaching that you need in order to take your situation to the next level. How can I tighten up my speech? What things do I need to leave out? What things do I need to expand on? Where do I cut off? When do I make my first pitch within my speech? How do I position myself on the stage? Who do I address? Am I addressing you all, or am I addressing one person? See, these are questions that a lot of people don't bother to ask because they don't know to ask them, because they've been getting on a stage and winging it. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. That may work for some people. That will not work for you, especially if you're just starting out and this isn't something that you've been doing your entire life. I can literally right now get up, hop on a stage, give me a topic. I will speak on it for 45 minutes. I will close from that stage. I will sell books. I will do what I need to do. And I will collect literally 80% of that room's email list. It happens every day, but I've been doing this since before I had all my baby teeth out. Some of y'all aren't there yet. You may be gifted, but you're not skilled. You may be skilled, but you don't have the opportunity to have developed those gifts. So that's why you need to have somebody to do it for you. If you don't have the time, that's why there are resources. So let's talk about some resources and some things that we can do. For example, this is Andrea Harrison. Andrea Harrison came to me. She called me to consult with her, and she was told and given some really horrible advice. She was told that nobody cared about momagers and what it means to be a momager. Her daughter Madison had a campaign where they launched a hashtag, and that hashtag literally took them all the way to the White House so that this little 9-year-old photographer can take pictures in the White House of the president and the first lady. She also was on the premiere episode of Steve Harvey's talk show this season. You know, so it's not, and I said, well, you know, how did you do that? And I knew the answer. And her response to me was, oh, it was the grace of God. I said, yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it. Without a doubt, it was a huge part of it. I said, but you know what else? It was you making sure that your daughter, you worked with your daughter so that she had some get up and go, that she had some gumption, that she had a focus and a goal that she wanted to achieve. And then you worked on how to make that happen. I said, there are a bunch of people right now. I said, I will tell you as a parent of 2 millennials, I definitely want to know what it is that you did. And there's value in that. And I would pay for that. And I'm betting that I'm not the only person who would pay for that. I was like, where's your email list? I don't have one. Where's your website? I don't have one. Where's your ebook? I don't have one. So after about a half an hour of this, we narrowed some things down, and literally in about an hour, she had this cover ready to go, and it started writing this book, I Am Madison's Mommy, 9 Lessons I Learned from Raising a Child Entrepreneur. And her daughter did the forward. You know, so it's about value. It's about making sure that people understand where you are in the universe, what your place is. Who are you? What is your message? Why should I care? You just have to find the tribe. So when some idiot tells you that you don't have a message that people will resonate with, that just means that that idiot is not the audience that you need to be with. But don't let anybody ever tell you what it is that you can't do. So on Wednesday, I gotten some really good feedback from the webinar, and I wanted to share some of that with you. So Katrina had written, I listened on Wednesday and closed another new client on Thursday with just a few of the tips. I did not ask anybody to do this. I just happened to see it on Facebook, and I wanted to share it with you. January said, I was there on Wednesday, and I personally want to thank Dave Anderson. Tonight, I gave my first speech at a Toastmasters competition. Unknowingly, I was the guest speaker there to give a speech so the ones judging could be judged. Due to that, I was able to hear feedback, and I was amazed how comfortable they thought I was. Everyone loved my speech, and I have you to thank for the confidence. I just remember you saying something like, you are the expert of you. I structured it on how you suggested, and my feedback was great. No one could tell that it was my first time. From seasoned Toastmasters, I was told that I should take that speech and run with it. Who knows where this may take me? I was just doing a favor for my mother-in-law. LOL, thanks again. So this is just from that one webinar. You know, Andrea's situation was just from, one coaching call with me. So I'm always excited to be able to work with people who are achievers. I don't want whiners. I don't want complainers. I don't want people who don't want to follow instructions. I don't have time. If I want somebody who's not going to follow instructions, I got a teenager. I don't need to parent no more. Okay. So if you're willing to be an achiever, I'd love to work with you. If you're willing to make some things happen, I'd love to work with you. I would love to deliver phenomenal results for you impactfully as soon as humanly possible. But we gotta do some stripping. We gotta get down to those bones. I gotta look at that muscle. I gotta see what's in that heart. I gotta make sure that you're able to tie things together, that you know how to position yourself on the stage, that you know who to look for, when to look, and what to do. So what I want to do is talk to you about what we have here, and this is the done for you version of the Book, Speak, Close, Repeat program. So let's run down what you get. You get unlimited access to me and my team. You get full-on speaker training. Okay. You also get media training from a top TV producer. You get your media kit developed. That is your electronic press kit and your media kit. I'm also going to help you build your email list. All this is done for you. You're also going to get a custom video intro and outro for your online videos so that everything is uniform and consistent. You don't see a McDonald's with blue arches. So your coloring is important. The way that your videos are introed and outroed are important. If you look at my YouTube page, which has over 2.5 million viewers on it, everything is uniform. And there is a reason for that, so that people don't mistake it. You have to have things that are already in place. You need to have your social media graphics on point and developed for you. We're going to do that. I'm also going to make sure that you have professional copy written for both your website, your electronic press kit, and anything involving you as a speaker. On top of that, you're going to get one-on-one coaching from me and my team. So on my team, I happen to have one of the best bookers in the business. She does all of my bookings for me. And like I said, I don't get out of bed for less than $5,000. Her name is Adrienne Paxton. And while you may not know her name, she was the executive producer of a little show called Good Day New York for Fox 5 in New York City. Our Rolodex is long, and it doesn't matter if you're in another country. It doesn't matter that you've never spoken before. With this program, we basically take you and we skyrocket you. We literally put the nitrous in your back and we send you off down the path. And that program is $20,000 or $1,700 per month for 12 months. And that is everything. It takes care of everything. And let's talk about the bonuses. You also get all of my best-selling books. You get all of my social media manuals. You also get video lessons from industry leaders and legends, including Les Brown. I do have some video from Les that's going to help you skyrocket your speaking business. You also get a featured guest interview on my show, The Business Bully Show, which is also simulcast and posted on allhiphop.com, which has 3 million unique views a day. And so we're rolling. And if you're in the Done For You program, you also get to share the stage with me at a live event. So basically, you're going to open for me. So these spots are filling up fast. And of course, you can go to ibranduniversity.com/apply. So it's ibranduniversity.com/apply. Also, you may not necessarily be there, but we have the Done With You program. Now, the Done With You program is a 6-month mastermind program. Both of these are mastermind programs. This one gives you online access to me and my team. You also get speaker training sessions. You also get media training sessions. You get a critique of your current media kit or what it is that you've developed up until this point. We also give you training to get media bookings and speaking engagements. You get trainings on how to do your ebook. We train you on how to build your list. You get a lot of copy tips and tricks because we're not going to write it for you, but we're going to teach you what to tweak and how to make it happen. You're also going to get group accountability and coaching from me and my team and the other members of the Done With You and Done For You program. So there are going to be times where you're going to be in the hot seat and we're going to review your speech and we're going to review your talk and your materials, and you're going to get absolute great real-time feedback. This is also going to come with a free private Facebook group, all of my bestsellers, my social media manuals, video lessons from industry leaders and legends, including Les, hot sheet coaching and critiques from my team, and weekly live video training. And that is $49.97, or you can do $497 now, plus 5 payments of $997. But if you pay in full, you do save $500. So that's absolutely awesome. And look, I get it. There are certain people who just want to get up, get out, and get at it. And guess what? Boom. Book yourself, fool. So this is a book yourself course. You can learn at your own pace. If it takes you 6 months, if it takes you a year, the information will be there for you. You're going to get speaker training video sessions. You're going to get media training video sessions. You're going to get a media kit critique. You're going to get training to help you book your own media, which is extremely important. And like I said, you want to make sure that you are advantageous to the person who is booking you by actually having some connections with getting in the media, because it absolutely helps to promote the event. You're going to get training on how to write your ebook, where to publish your ebook, how to make money with your ebook. List building training is going to come in there, and the copy tips and tricks. So this is a full out program with videos. Plus, you're going to get 2 live Q&A sessions with me. You're going to get all of my bestsellers, all of my media manuals, and you're going to get those video legends lessons from leaders and legends. So that's absolutely awesome. Plus, if you decide to act right now and do the book yourself course, you're going to get 1 hour one-on-one via Skype with me. And you can pick my brain, and we are going to rock and roll. And I'm extremely excited. Again, you can go to iBringUniversity.com/apply. And I'm putting this up in the chat room again so that you can see it and deal with it, because it's going to be a really, really exciting time. And also, Charles said, will there be a way for us to retrieve this video and review it again? Absolutely. This video is also going to come with some bonuses, including a manual that just kind of breaks down everything that I talked about in Book, Speak, Close, Repeat. And that is going to be $97. So you can also get that, and you can indicate in your application that you wanted to do the webinar with all the information and the manual. And that's iBringUniversity.com/apply, and that's $97. But with that, I'm only going to take 10 slots. So again, I'm going to tell you right now, everything is absolutely amazing. So it's going to be amazing. Now, Jennifer Slay absolutely took the plunge. She signed up after Wednesday's webinar, and she's doing the entire full year. And we're excited to have her. We're already working on developing the materials that she already has, tweaking some things, fine-tuning everything from her website to her speech to her multiple streams of income. So it's going to be an amazing situation. We do not come to play. We come to make you accountable. We come to make you better, because what you're doing is you're putting your message out into the world. And that message is not only a reflection on you, but it's a reflection on me. And I want to make sure that what you're doing is going to really rock people's socks off, man. I don't want folks to play small anymore. I know what it is to play small. I know what it is to be scared. I know what it is to say, well, what if it doesn't work? Yeah, but I'm here to tell you it does. Look, you see my resume. You know what I'm about. Everything that I'm telling you is Googleable, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word or not. I'll have to check on that, but it sounds good. So you want to be able to start taking some risks, and look at it like this. If you were to go, let's take this up. If you were to go and do the Done For You program, right, at $1,700 a month for 12 months, if your first gig is $3,000, you've already paid for almost 2 months of the program with 1 gig. Oh, and by the way, when we book you, we don't take a percentage of that booking. You've already paid to be booked. You've paid to have your ebooks developed and written. You've paid to have your media kit built. You've paid to have your website copy revamped. You've paid to make sure that your social media graphics are on point. You've paid for one-on-one coaching with me and my team. All that's included, plus bestsellers and all that other good stuff. So you have a lot of stuff that you have that is going to benefit you. If you're going to do the 6-month program, again, you're only putting down $497 now, and then you're going to be paying once we actually start, and that's in the beginning of October. You're going to get online access to me and my team. That also means phone calls. You're going to get speaker training sessions where we go through your speech. We go through the way that you position yourself. We go through what you say, how you say it, the inflections, your pitch, your tone. All of those things play a role in how you are received. I can say, I love you, like this, and not give you the same impact if I say, I love you. So tone is very important, and it's something that a lot of people overlook. You're going to get critiqued about your media kit, and we're going to tell you how to fix it. We're not going to fix it for you, but we're going to work with you to make sure that you do what's necessary in order to fix it, and we'll work with you till you get it right. So 6 months, you get me and my team working side by side with you to help you take your situation to the next level. You're also going to get training on how to book the media, what your email should look like, what your package should look like, what you should say, how you should approach meeting planners for speaking engagements. All of those things are going to be there with you. You're also going to get tips on how to fix your copy and tighten that up. You're also going to have an entire group, a community that is going through this with you. Not just me and my team, but a community that's going through this with you, that is going to keep you accountable, that's going to keep you on track, that's going to keep you where you need to be. And you get all those bonuses that I talked about. Just a lot of video trainings are worth the cost of that program. But the Book Yourself course, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is for people who really want to get up and go get it. And if you want to bet on yourself and you're like, look, I can't make that kind of commitment to do a whole year, but I want to get the training, I want to take my situation to the next level, this is the course for you. And like I said, if you act now, for the next 10 folks, you are going to get an hour one-on-one session with me if you just do the Book Yourself course. So that's $997 or 3 payments to $375. Absolutely amazing and awesome. And I would act on that. So you want to make sure you go to iBrainUniversity/apply. Jen, thanks so much for saying that. Day's no joke. If you're serious about moving forward, don't hesitate. Go for it. Can't wait to see you all shine. Now is the time for questions. What questions do you have? There's nothing you can't ask. Now is your time. Again, you can go to iBrainUniversity.com/apply and start to fill out your application. And we'll be happy to have you. Now, the $97 webinar info comes with, it's going to come with all the bonuses. It's also going to come with this webinar. It is also going to come with a live one-on-one session with me for 1 hour. Bina says, how long do you suggest one speak at per engagement? I'm a big fan of an hour, and here's how an hour gets broken down. Okay, first 15 minutes, you're establishing who you are. And with that, before you even do that, and I'm going to talk about this through the course as well, you want to make sure that you control your introduction, meaning you give them an introduction to speak. And you also make sure that it's in your writer, and I didn't go over this, but I need to do that right now. Your writer is like what you hear rock and roll stars have, where they want the M&Ms but not the green ones because they don't like the way the green ones taste. In your writer, you make clear that they read your introduction verbatim, that you have a couple bottles of water. I suffer from sciatica, so sometimes I ask for a very comfortable chair to be on stage with me in case I need to sit down. So for 15 minutes, you're breaking down who you are and your story. Then you get into the media conversation, and you stop at 45. That way you can do Q&A. You do Q&A at every single event simply because you want to make sure that you're connecting with people. And every time you answer a question, you want to make sure that you're able to go ahead and try and sell more from what's going on there. And so, yeah, Tonda, if you're concerned about the $97 webinar info pack not being beneficial for you, I want to tell you it's going to be extremely beneficial for you, because you're going to wind up doing some great things, and you're going to get a lot of information. Plus, you get a one-on-one session where you can ask me anything. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, that's what I would suggest as far as that. So, Bina, to answer your question, 45 minutes is when you talk. First 15 minutes, you're establishing who you are and why you're there. The rest of that is the meat, and then the last 15 minutes should be used for Q&A. Tonda, did you get my answer as far as what comes with the $97 program? I hope that helps. You're very welcome, Abina. I definitely appreciate you. Also, while you're here, I also want to know what you've learned and what question. So that's what I can afford right now. But can I get the Wednesday webinar instead since I missed it? I'll tell you what. If you decide to get the $97 package today, I will give you both videos. I will give you this one, and I will give you that one, and you'll have lifetime access to them. So yes, you can definitely do that today, and go ahead and fill out the application and make it clear that you want to do the webinar level. Which is something we just decided to add on after we created the slide. And Tonda said, I definitely see the benefit in it. Yes, I got it. Thanks. So we'll get that out today and make that happen. I think it makes a lot of sense. And please, if you've enjoyed this webinar, make sure that you let folks know. And you can also, if you go to, you've already gone to ibrainuniversity.com/apply. Share it on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook at The Business Bully in case you didn't know. But yeah, make sure you apply. What other questions can I answer? I'm going to hang around for a couple more minutes just to kind of answer everything for you. It's an amazing situation. And, I'm always a big believer in investing in yourself, because whatever you invest, especially since you're starting a business, that then becomes tax deductible. And that's another thing that we break down, the actual speaking business and the business of speaking, what that means, how that works. How you never ever want to take a vacation again, that you want to take business trips. You never want to go out to dinner again. You want to have dinner meetings, so there are a lot of tax advantages to being a speaker that most people will never tell you. And so you're going to get a lot of benefit and a lot of knowledge that you didn't have prior to coming to this webinar. So last call for questions, because I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. So if you have any questions, now's the time, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, folks. That's going to be it. If there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. You can, of course, reach out to me through the application link. Make sure you fill out everything in that application so that we can get to you as soon as humanly possible. And we will be making calls today. So we're definitely going to go ahead and get you squared away, get you taken care of, and welcome you to this program. We're excited to have you. We're excited to be helping you book. We're excited to help you grow. So again, book, speak, close, repeat. It's a process, it's a system, and we're excited to be able to teach it to you and get you booked and get you out there to deliver your message and make a maximum impact on the world that surrounds you. So I look forward to it. Let's see here. See, Tonda has a question. See if hold on, got to scroll back down. My mistake. As someone starting out, do you suggest forming an LLC or just being a sole proprietor for now? I would start off as a sole proprietor. because you still get the tax benefits. But the one thing that I would do is go to irs.gov and get what's called an EIN number. Get yourself an EIN number. An EIN number is like a social security number for your business. But with that, you can set up a few other things. And as you begin to grow, like I would say after your third or fourth well-paying gig, then it's time to move over to an LLC. And the reason you move over to an LLC is because then you become an employee of that LLC. Even though you own the company, you become an employee, and you can actually dictate how much you pay yourself, so that when you do your individual taxes and you do your business taxes, you can kind of look at what you're paying yourself salary-wise, and you can kind of go from there. Jennifer said, "Thank you for everything. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you took the plunge in that you're going for, Jennifer." But Tonda, I hope that answers your question. And again, if you've already put in your application, I have no problem in answering your questions with that one-on-one session once we get you all signed up and taken care of, because that's something that we're going to do immediately. And so look forward to that. Last call for questions. We got just a few more minutes here, and then I'm going to wrap up. All right, folks. So that is going to do it for Book, Speak, Close, Repeat. Any other questions, I will be happy to answer once you go to ibrainuniversity.com/apply, and we can go ahead and get you taken care of. And I will be happy to answer those questions, deal with any concerns that you have. And I definitely look forward to you. What info should we prepare for the one-on-one session? Anything that has to do with speaking, what your concerns are, what you have. If you have a demo, you can feel free to let us know. And, you can kind of just go from there. So feel free to do that. And okay, I'm going back here, just trying to get as many questions answered as possible. So yeah, those are, that's what I would do to prepare for the one-on-one session. It's not a pop quiz. We're definitely going to talk. So if you've got questions, it's the time you answer them. And we're going to rock and roll from there. And it's going to be a beautiful situation. So yes, thank you so very much. This is it. Any last questions? If you haven't gone to ibrainuniversity.com/apply, I need you to do that now. And I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been absolutely awesome. I look forward to working with you no matter what level of the program you choose. If you choose not to work with us, I would say still go at it. Do the best that you can on your own. But I know good and well that it is not easy, and there was not a whole lot of people willing to answer any questions for me when I was starting out. And there was a period of time where, I wouldn't speak as often, but I was speaking, and folks didn't take the time to really teach me all the things that I know now. So it was happy for me. It was a happy occasion for me when I got to work for Les Brown, and I got to learn so much about building a speaking business from the #1 speaker on the planet. So it's a great situation, and I thank you so much for being here. And this has been Book, Speak, Close, Repeat. I am Dave Anderson, ibrainuniversity.com/apply, and I will see you on the stage.